The hollows of Black Creek. Hey everyone, I've got a story to tell, one that still chills me to the bone. I live in a quiet town in rural Louisiana, where the swamp stretches thick and endless behind our neighborhoods. Most folks think it's just gators and mosquitoes out there, but I know better. There are places where the air goes still, where the trees grow too close together, and where something old watches from the shadows. The worst of these spots is an abandoned train trestle, deep in the wetlands, about 15 minutes from my house. The wood is rotted, the rails rusted, and beneath it Black Creek slithers like a dark vein through the marsh. On either side of the water, the underbrush is a snarled mess of cypress knees and thorn vines. The eastern bank is slick with algae, and the western side, covered in spray-painted symbols, some fresh, some faded into the wood like scars. The first time something happened was back in 2013. My friend Marcus, let's call him that, had a few of us over for his birthday. After stuffing ourselves at some diner, we decided to sneak out to the trestle, part dare, part curiosity. We took flashlights, joking about gators and meth heads, but the second we stepped onto those tracks, the jokes died. About halfway to the bridge, we saw it. A black fox sitting at the edge of the eastern trail, still as a statue. Its eyes reflected our flashlight beams, not the usual green or gold, but a flat, depthless red. We figured maybe a trapper or hunter was nearby, but when we got closer, it slipped into the marsh without a sound. Marcus and I followed its path, pushing through sawgrass and spiderwebs, while our friends, Jake and Eli, lagged behind. The trail opened into a small clearing, unnaturally circular, like something had worn the earth down. The fox was there, waiting. Then 3 more stepped from the trees. Not foxes, not quite. Their bodies were too long, their movements too fluid, like smoke given shape. The first one sat just feet away, staring with those same hollow red eyes. We backed up slowly, hissing at Jake and Eli to stop. The creatures didn't move, didn't blink, just watched. The second we turned to run, we heard it, a wet, heavy thud on the tracks behind us. We whipped around. The foxes were on the bridge now, though we'd just left them in the clearing. Their forms flickered as they moved, like after-images trailing behind them. Then Jake gasped. "What the hell is that?" Behind us, something rose from the creek. Tall, hunched, its skin the color of drowned flesh. It had too many joints, its limbs bending wrong as it dragged itself onto the bank. The foxes scattered like shadows under light. The thing's head turned, slow, deliberate, and its mouth split open in a grin of needle teeth. We didn't wait. We ran until our lungs burned, until we crashed through Marcus's front door. His grandma took one look at us, pale, shaking, and crossed herself. "Y'all been to the trestle, ain't you?" She didn't laugh, didn't call us liars, just muttered, "The hollows don't let go easy." Part 2, The Wrong Birds. A year later, curiosity got the better of us. We went back, this time in daylight, to check out the graffiti. New symbols had appeared, jagged, almost clawed into the wood. That's when we noticed the silence. No frogs, no wind, just the thick, suffocating air pressing down like a hand. Over our mouths. Then the bird call came. It started distant, a warped chirp that sounded like a crow's cry played backward. Each call got closer. By the 4th, it was right above us. We looked up just as something slammed into the trestle above. Impact so hard the wood groaned. The sound wasn't natural. Nothing that big should have been able to move that fast. We didn't look back, didn't speak until we hit the road. "That wasn't a bird," Marcus whispered. I knew he was right, because when I'd glanced up, I'd seen shadows moving where nothing should have been casting them, and they were laughing.